He said that he wanted people to love Raqqa. Like, and I'm like, oh man, that's a lot to ask. I mean, without you want to be lovable, but you don't want that to be in the back of your mind of, oh, I'm going to do this so people will love me. So it was a matter of understanding the world and understanding my place in the world. And he talked about how he wanted Raqqa to be, this particular kind of voice. So I kind of divided it up in threes, like the world of the Eagle clan, which is somewhat libertarian or somewhat like innocent and somewhat just sort of nuclear, confined. And then the world of Raqqa and his order, which is the connective bridge to the world of Caesar and his doctrines and his beliefs about, apes and humans, living together, even though they're a bit skewed. It's a lot of questions. Like, can Raqqa read? Can he still? But he's a voice of reason. He's a voice of sort of mysticism and spirituality. He's kind of like an archaeologist, and he's very much interested in the harmony, even though he's never really experienced it, of humans and apes. He's a monitor of, and he's very curious about the expansion of consciousness and ape consciousness and what it means to be an ape and what it means to coexist and what it means to, I say that one of my missions is to treat humans with kindness. Like, and at this point, we just see they're feral, they don't talk, they're like, the herd of, gazelles. And he still has it in his mind that, human beings, because we have all these murals and we have books and all these things, and that there was a time, even though it's skewed, there was a time when humans and apes like they lived side by side. Leave out the fact that the apes were in cages, but this again, when it goes back to the notion of stories last longer than actual history, but the mythology of the idea of coexistence, and like I feel like he is the voice of that, where Noah is very secular, his clan, the Eagle clan, is very, this is the law, and and nothing else makes sense. And I'm like, no, the world is way bigger than what you think it is. And I don't, ironically, don't know that it's as big as what Proximus has going on. This particular kind of mocap, because it's mocap ape, like we're embodying, apes, and it's very easy to slip back into being a human being. And so the trick is always to try to even keeping your hands with the extensions, or just like like your legs squatted and your feet out, and knowing that they have like these feet that look like this, and that's the tricky business. And thank goodness we had Elaine there to just keep us, remind us each, like, pay attention to this, watch your, like, don't step too wide. But the mocap, and because and this is the last thing I'll say about this is ultimately I just had to trust the team. I had to trust the Wes, ultimately, like, that he's getting what he wants, because I have no real way of knowing. I'm going to be just as surprised as everybody else when the movie comes out and see what it looks like. I think that why this franchise resonates with audiences is because it does ask the question. It puts the mirror in our face of, like, if we don't, get it together, we're gonna fall off, because apes don't need what human beings need. You know what I mean? Apes need nature in a way that, and then it presents this idea of, like, it's like a macabre fascination, I think, with our own demise. And then it also asks questions about evolution and expansion of consciousness, and that you can go on forever with that, because, and that's why I love science fiction, because it just asks these questions of what's next.